What's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be uploaded on Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to all of you. Hopefully you're enjoying your day and everything, but we're here to react to Game Week 18 in the Premier League. Palace Brighton, I predicted a 2-1 Brighton win. I don't know why, these two teams always draw 1-1, especially at Selhurst Park, so I should have probably predicted that. I think Brighton were definitely the better team and the team that showed more intent to win. Palace took the lead through a mistake from Verbruggen. He should have done a bit better with the clearance, and then Elise put a really nice ball in too high at the back stick before Danny Welbeck scored a wonder header to level the game. But Brighton right at the end almost won it, couldn't do so, and it's yet another game that ends 1-1 between these two rivals. Aston Villa against Sheffield United. I thought Villa would take it because they had won 15 consecutive home Premier League games. Sheffield United were yet to get a win on the road this season, so of course it ended 1-1. Aston Villa should feel very hard done by in this game. They had 2 penalty shouts in the first half. There was a handball one which would have been a bit harsh. Then there was also one where Watkins got pushed in the back, which I thought was a penalty. Aston Villa then had a goal disallowed after Foderingham. It was fouled from a corner, but they played on, and Sheffield United had the ball, and it was a different phase of play before they lost it again and Villa scored. However, for some reason the officials seemed to think it was the same phase of play, even though Sheffield United had multiple touches after that incident, and they had control of the ball as well. It wasn't like, oh, they're heading it out trying to get it away. No, the Bulldog had the ball at his feet and he was dribbling away. It was a foul, and if the ref had blown straight away and given a foul, fair enough, but he didn't. So I don't think VAR should have intervened and disallowed the goal. But it was always going to be Cameron Archer that would score for Sheffield United here. I knew he would score against his old team. It was written in the stars, and he did so, gave him the lead very late on before, right at the end of the game, Zaniolo scored a brilliant header to level the game. But I definitely think Villa should feel disappointed and a bit hard done by here, but it's a brilliant result for Sheffield United. Under Wilder, they've shown so much improvement. They look so much better. If they'd brought him in a bit earlier, they could have been out of the relegation zone by now. West Ham against Manchester United. What can I say, man? Genius. Man United did have a few chances themselves. I thought Anthony on the ball was alright in this game. He set up Garnacho with a brilliant opportunity, but he just didn't take it. And he also sent a really good cross in that neither Højlund or Garnacho even attacked properly. But West Ham were the better side in my opinion, and they scored a couple really nice goals. First one coming from Jared Bowen. Of course it was Paquetá, played a brilliant ball, man. Honestly, he's such a good player. He's got 5 assists in the space of a week, which is crazy. Second goal was scored by Kudus after a Mainu mistake. Feel for the lad because he's been one of Man United's few bright spots this season. But yeah, huge mistake from him, and Kudus finished it off really, really well. A well-deserved win for West Ham. Fulham against Burnley. Burnley won 2-0, which was really surprising, I think, to everyone, considering how good Fulham were doing and how bad Burnley were doing. Fulham were by far the better side in this game as well, and especially in the first half, they had so many chances. Trafford pulled off a multitude of saves. But for once, Burnley actually took the few chances they had. Usually they have like 5-6 chances in the match and don't score any because they don't know how to score. But in this game, they had 2 chances and they scored 2 goals. I think Fulham were definitely missing Jimenez, who had found a real good vein of form. Obviously, it's his own fault that he's not available for selection right now, but they definitely missed him in this one because Muniz ain't anywhere near as good as him. I think Carlos Vinicius isn't either. If Jimenez was fit, I think Fulham would have won this pretty comfortably because they created a lot of chances. It's a big result for Burnley. You know, they didn't play as well as they usually do, but they got the result, which is what's important right now. Luton Town against Newcastle. I can't believe it. Newcastle lost 1-0. Before Luton scored, it was kind of even. I think Newcastle starting to take a bit of charge. They had a massive chance through Callum Wilson, which he just completely messed up. But after Luton took the lead for the rest of the first half, they were the better side. They were the side creating more chances. I mentioned him in the last review video, but Ross Barkley has turned into a completely different player since joining Luton. He's playing at the level I think everyone expected him to be playing at this point 7-8 years ago. Like, he's been so good for them. He could have scored a couple goals. He hit the crossbar. Second half, Newcastle did improve, but they didn't do enough to win the game. Luton were very good, and Kenilworth Road is really turning into a little fortress for him. All 3 promoted clubs got very good results this weekend. This relegation scrap is going to be really, really interesting now. Speaking of relegation scraps, Nottingham Forest played against Bournemouth, and I did think Bournemouth were going to win by a goal, and they did win by a goal. Not quite the same scoreline, but they were so hard done by in this game. After 25 minutes, the referee, Rob Jones, decides, Willy Bolly, I'm sending you off. You got 2 yellow cards. First one, a clear yellow card, right decision. Second one, he won the ball and then he got stamped on, but apparently he committed the foul. I don't understand it. Like, this is why referees get abused so much. This is why players have to surround referees and say, what are you doing? Because they're so stupid. All of them are so dumb. Like, what? I couldn't believe my eyes. Obviously, at that point, it's going to be really difficult for Forest to get anything. And they did so well. Elanga opened the scoring. Chris Wood got a leveller as well at 2-1. But Dominic Solanke scored a hat-trick, and I had him in my FPL team, so I'm very happy he did. But I feel so bad for Forest. I actually didn't think they'd put up a fight like this because I didn't think Nuno was a very good coach. They showed a lot of heart in this performance. And yeah, it was really unfortunate for them. And hopefully Rob Jones is dealt with by the FA, but probably won't be. But that's now 5 wins in 6 games for Bournemouth. What a run they're on. This is the Bournemouth I said we're going to see at the start of the season. And Bournemouth could absolutely finish in the top half of the season. Tottenham Hotspur against Everton, another very controversial game. I thought it would be a 2-2 draw. Tottenham won 2-1. I thought Everton were the better side. They created more chances, created higher quality chances as well, but they couldn't score. The reason they lost is because in the first 20 minutes, they weren't really at it, and Tottenham scored 2 goals in that time. Vicario had to make a lot of good saves. That's why, in my opinion, he's been the best goalkeeper in the league this season so far. Everton did have a goal disallowed as well for a foul. I thought it was the right decision, but the liner was right there, and he didn't say anything at the time. The ref had a decent view of it as well, so it was a bit harsh for it to be disallowed, but I thought it was the right call. Right at the end of the game, Danjuma, the former Tottenham man, hit the crossbar and it was going over the line, and Vicario's knee stopped it going in. It was phenomenal goalkeeping from him. Don't know if he even knew anything about it, but it was just amazing. But Everton had everything in this game. They hit the woodwork twice. They made, like I said, Vicario may have to make a lot of good saves. It's another really, really positive performance from Everton. I'm starting to really like him. I love Sean Dyche. I think he's a fantastic coach. The reputation he's got is really unfair in my opinion, because Everton are actually playing some really good football with some players who aren't the most talented, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. They've got Manchester City next, and I think they'll give him a very tough game. Tottenham probably feel like they deserve a good result from a game in which they don't play the best, because they've had a lot of results go against them when they have played quite well, like against Aston Villa and West Ham, for example. But they're very much back in the title race now, and that is because of the next game, Liverpool against Arsenal. I thought it was going to be a 2-1 Arsenal win. End up being a draw. I think a draw was probably the right result given how the game went as well. Don't think either team really did enough to win it. I thought it was fine on both teams, so Saliba, Gabriel and Rice for Arsenal, and Van Dijk, Kanate, and to a bit of a lesser extent Endo. He did play very well still. Were all just phenomenal in this game. They stopped any of the opposing attackers from doing anything really. They were really dominant in their own areas, and yeah, in my opinion, Rice was man of the match. Again, he was just really good. I think Saliba actually got recognised man of the match, and he was also very, very good. But Arsenal got off to a flying start. Gabriel scored after just 4 minutes, and Arsenal up to that point had another couple chances that they could have scored as well. And Zinchenko made a horrible mistake, man. Defensively, he is so bad, and I think if Timber or Tomiyasu were fit for this game, Arsenal would have won. Zinchenko is just defensively horrendous. He's like Alexander-Arnold in that way. That's why I think neither of them are fullbacks, because they can't defend. Like, do you know what I mean? Right at the end of the first half, Arsenal had a big chance through Martinelli. He slipped and he hit the shot wide. He really should have scored that, and at that point Arsenal go into the break 2-1 up. They could go on to win. In the second half, Liverpool had a 5-on-2. Declan Rice is the only Arsenal defender back, and they missed. I'm not going to say Declan Rice is a god, but I've been raving about him all season. He stopped a 5-on-1 technically, so I'm going to take it. Trent should have scored. There was a little bubble before he shot, but he still should have been burying it. Liverpool also did have a big penalty shout in the first half, which I think was a penalty. Odegaard handled it and it should have been a penalty, but I think the foul that led to that free kick, that led to that shout, shouldn't have been given. So you could argue it's a bit of a balancing act. There's also a potential red card for Saka. Personally, I think it would have been a bit harsh because he clearly slipped and there wasn't a lot of force in his challenge either, so that'd have been a bit harsh. But I do see why people are calling for a red card for that. Arsenal go into Christmas Day, top of the league for the 2nd year in a row. Hopefully they can actually get over the line this time. In the final game, Wolverhampton Wanderers against Chelsea. I predicted a 1-1 draw. Wolves won 2-1, but Chelsea should feel really disappointed themselves. In the first half, they had some really good chances. Sterling put a really good cross into Jackson, who completely miscontrolled it, and Sterling missed a 3-on-1. He had Jackson and Palmer square and decides, you know what, I'm going to shoot. And he hit it straight at the keeper. It was embarrassing. In the second half, the Wolves improved massively, and they got a goal very early on in the half, and despite doing nothing in the first half. And then Chelsea made a couple of subs. Mudryk came on. I think Chelsea took control of the game again, but they couldn't create too much. Madueke came on. I thought he did really well in his little cameo as well. Them two need to start, in my opinion, man, because I think they're very good players. and they need a bit more rhythm. You know, they need to be playing more often so that they can get consistency into their game. But Wolves scored right at the end to make it 2-0, and I thought, oh, it's done now. But Nkunku, who also came on, scored a really nice header to half the deficit and give Wolves a bit of a scare. But they managed to hold on. A really good win for them. Gary Neville's doing wonders at that football club as well. Anyway, that's what I thought of the game week. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you soon for another video.